Bonaduce, life coach. Danny Bonaduce, life coach.
Alrighty, kids, it is time for Danny Bonaduce, life coach, with special guest Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones. You need to call me right now at 1-800. I was about to spell it, say 1-800-DIVORCE. That's his phone number, not mine. My phone number is 1-800-252-1025. Also, we happily take your emails at lifecoach@KZOK.com. Life Coach brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Let me start with Chrissy in Burien. That's, believe it or not, a call from me. When Rick Jones is here, I don't usually get many. We'll be with your calls in a moment. 1-800-252-1025. Hello, Chrissy in Burien.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I had a question about abuse because yesterday my father-in-law had asked me if I knew something that would help him curb his alcohol intake.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I had heard you talk about it on the radio that you take it every day.
I do.
And I said that he could talk to his doctor, but I wanted to know, is he going to be anxious and freaking out and getting sick if he takes it?
He'll absolutely never know what's in his system. It's like saying he's going to take vitamin B. He'll never know. His body will not react to this at all. And here's the other good news. You can take it for years. I've taken it off and on forever, but I've been on it 4 years this time, and I love it. I'll tell you how it works, too, so you don't get nervous. I've had probably 2 or 3 big sips of booze since I've been sober, and I still consider myself sober. Every girl in my life drinks something that looks a lot like 7-Up and leaves it on the counter. So here's what happens. You get these giant purple splotches. I mean, it looks like you have the meat. I knew immediately what had happened. The second it passed my lips, I knew it was going to happen. But you get these giant purple spots all over your back and arms and face. You feel like you're on fire, and you get nauseous. So here's the deal, though. He can take it himself if he wants, but I found all he has to do then is change his mind. So I think it's better if somebody he loves puts it right in his mouth every day, says, here, take this pill every day. And that way, there's just no way to drink on it. There's just no way to do it. Nobody could ever do that and have any pleasure about it. So I think somebody like you that cares about him would have to give him the Antabuse. And thank you for the call. And by the way, it does. It really works.
How does she go about getting it?
You just go to NEMD. NEMD and all this is not a scheduled thing. It's not a big nightmare to have. He just won't drink on it. I think it's the gift from God, this pill.
If you've got a question for Danny Bonaduce, life coach, or for Rick Jones, who is the premier Seattle attorney when it comes to divorce, it's Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE, but the number to call now is 800-252-1025. Rick
and he's
Jones.
handsome, if that counts.
Very much.
Yeah, you got a handsome lawyer. I think that counts for something.
Rick Jones and Danny Bonaduce, call now. Todd in Port Townsend, you are on with Rick Jones and Danny Bonaduce.
Hi, thank you. I'm Mr. Jones. Hi, Danny.
Hey.
Hey, I've got a question. A couple years ago, I divorced. The wife got the house in the divorce. She consequently went into foreclosure, worked to deal with the bank. But the deal that she brokered with the bank has my name on it. And in the divorce decree, she had 2 years to either sell the home or make a lump sum payment. And that 2 years is up. And so now I'm wondering, what should I do? Where do I go? Do I go straight to a judge or to an attorney?
It's a great question.
Well, ultimately, you're going to be in front of the court, so you're going to ask the judge for a decision. You probably do need to go to the attorney first to make sure that the decision or the question is framed the right way, because you only got one shot at it. But what you're looking to do is what's called a motion to enforce the decree, because it's already been decided that she had an obligation to either sell or cash you out and refinance, I assume is the third part of that deal, without your name on it so that you're not beholden anymore. So you're in a very solid position of strength, but yes, you do need to be in front of the court to order her to enforce the decree and the promises that she made.
All right, good luck.
All right, there is still time to call 800-252-1025 with your questions about life or divorce, custody, and that sort of thing, because special guest Rick Jones from Divorce for Men is in here. And, of course, Rick will help women out as well if you're
if you got a question about divorce, Rick's here to answer it.
Exactly. 800-252-1025. Looks like we've got a follow-up call here from Becky in Seattle.
Hello, Becky.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
Well, I called about my parents. My dad, my mom and dad were getting divorced. My mom told my dad, and he really didn't want to move out. He lied to her about looking at apartments, and she didn't know what to do. And he said that she had to file for a divorce and just kind of like kick him out. And I walked inside, and she was listening to the radio as I had called in, and she did it like a month later.
And how did this all shake out?
Well, my dad's going to move out in about June.
And Becky, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Well, you're a little older than you thought. I thought you were a kid, but I'll still say this one time. I was, my life was going really crazy, and I ended up on the Dr. Phil show, which lets you know right there. If you ever find yourself talking to Dr. Phil, somebody probably didn't go well. But he said, because I was worried about my kids, and he said, it's way better to be from a broken home than to be in one. I think the best thing for everybody involved is that they got a divorce. So I think the right thing happened, Becky. Hang in, sweetheart.
And nice to hear the follow-up that Mom actually heard your advice, took it, and now they're going to go forward with
everybody
the divorce.
listens to the Danny and Sarah show.
Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men, is in the studio. If you've got a question, 800-252-1025. Here is Holly in Historic Kent.
Hi, Holly.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. What's up?
Well, I've been separated we've been married for 23 years. I've been separated for 11.
Mm-hmm.
And we've split everything. Our kids are grown, all that good stuff. He's kind of strung me along for about the last 11 years that we get back together, blah, blah, blah. I just was wondering, because I'm at the point now where, yes, I do want to get divorced, if I actually deserve any kind of money just for being married so long, or we just call it good and be done.
Well, the only way that there's probably any money in there in that for you is if you still co-own anything that's been accruing equity over this time.
Do you own anything together?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, the reality is you've probably heard this phrase community property, which is how Washington State defines itself. Even though you've still been married all of these years after separation, the reality is your community ended at separation. So there really is not going to be any sort of entitlement to any pension increase that he's had, or frankly on your side too, if you've had any pension increase or 401k increase or any home equity, the community really ended 11 years ago.
All right. So if you've got a question, Rick Jones is here to help with anything with divorce and custody. 800-252-1025. And of course, Danny Bonaduce is here as the life coach this morning. So make the call now. John in Seattle, you're the next caller.
Hey, John.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. What's up?
Hey, I was wondering, my wife has got a few medical issues, and she's decided over the last couple of years not to go to work anymore because she's lost a couple of jobs. And we just haven't been getting along for many, many years. And so I was wondering if there was a divorce that came along, would I be liable to pay her alimony for the rest of her life, or would it be something that would go down as like a 50-50 state law thing?
Sure. Well, the issue of alimony, they call it spousal maintenance here in Washington, does exist whenever there's a significant difference between the income of the two of you. So the snapshot in time right now where she's not working, depending on your level of income, is pretty ripe for alimony, which is frustrating from the position you're in. Now, in terms of any advice I can give you, if there's any way to get her back working right now, if you guys are on the rocks, that's a whole lot better. And if a divorce goes down while she's working, the gap is going to be less or non-existent, so it's going to put you in a better place. As to your question of whether or not there's lifetime maintenance, the issue that she would have to show is not only that the two of you have been together for a substantial period of time, but in addition, that she has encountered some sort of injury or disability that occurred while the two of you were married. It's pretty rare to have lifetime maintenance absent maybe a 25-year marriage. How long have you been married?
Well, we've been married for 32 years. And
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I know. And she didn't have an injury or anything, but she's had rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah. Well, 32 years is a heck of a long time. How old is she and how old are you?
53, both of us.
Okay.
53 and you've been married well over 30 years? That's amazing.
That's a good run.
It is a great run. Well, you know what? Why don't you how much do you hate her? Hunker down, stay married.
Well, I know my dad always says it's cheaper to keep her, so that's always the down the line too.
And in this case, he's probably right. 32 years is a long time.
Hunker down, be roomies. It'll be fine. Good luck, John.
Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones is here, 1-800-DIVORCE. Rick, how come in Washington they don't call it alimony? Is there a reason?
It sounds better.
It does sound better.
Yeah. No, we're very politically correct here and have been for a long time. So it's called spousal maintenance. It's the warmer, softer version.
I like it.
I do too. He's going to be here to answer all your questions. So there's still time to call 800-252-1025. Danny Bonaduce, life coach, always here to help you. Elsie in Tacoma, you're the next caller.
Hi, my name is Elsie. Hello. And I have a friend that he's basically getting a divorce. They've been married, I think, over like 7 years, and they both have a child together. And so they're right now they're fighting for custody, and she's all over Facebook basically saying, I'm going to take him for all he's got. And he has printed stuff out like that. And both of them, need to work on some of this stuff. She smokes a lot of weed, and she's trying to get total custody. So he's basically saying, look, I want to co-parent or, be able to have my child more than just the weekend. Will he be able to do that?
Well, there's so much more I don't know to be able to answer that. But I'll tell you, he's doing the right things and she's doing the wrong things. So many times, whether it's our own client that we're trying to stay out of, keep them out of their own way, or whether it's the opposing party, posting on Facebook and saying things in emotion is just the wrong thing to do because it stays there and it becomes evidence. So he's on the right track printing these things out.
I wasn't sure. That'll become
sure.
Because she hasn't necessarily done the things she's saying she'll do. I'm going to do that. But that's enough, like motive or whatever she proves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
You're creating your own state of mind and putting it out there.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
We had a caller a minute ago that was saying that she doesn't work anymore, and you were giving us some fine advice. Is it ever smart for you to say, well, not you wouldn't say this kind of advice, but say, quit your job till the divorce is over, and that'll lower the amount of alimony you're going to have to pay?
Well, the problem is you still have the history to try and explain.
Okay.
So if it looks like you're doing something retaliatory, that's pretty see-through.
Yeah, it is. It's not a good con. All right.
We've got Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones in the studio answering your questions about divorce and custody and all that fun stuff that so many of you are going through. He's here for you right now at 800-252-1025. And Danny Bonaduce, life coach, always here. Jim in Arlington, you are on with Danny and Rick.
Good morning, Jim.
Yeah, I had a quick question with regards to you're going to be separating, been together for a long time, 20 years. All the properties in my name, and we've agreed that, okay, because we have a couple different homes, well, you take this one, I take this one, and so if we do a quit claim or something for the one home to be put into her name, does that have any tax implications from it?
I got a quick question for you, Jim. What you're saying you're going to do, are you being kind? Do you feel you're morally obligated, or do you feel in a court settlement she'd get one of your houses?
Probably all of the above.
All right, well, let's go to the expert. Let's go to Rick Jones. Sitting right here. Why waste that kind of talent? What up?
And I think I follow, which is right now you're split of things. Is that right?
Correct. Right.
Okay. Boy, you actually hit on a problem that I rarely hear, but it is a problem, which is when two people are married and they're dividing houses, let's say that they owned two houses, but while married, there's basically, it's not a loophole, but it's a tax provision that says in the course of a divorce, you can make this transfer, an actual transfer of property without incurring the excise tax.
Okay.
So it's basically recognizing that it really wasn't a transaction out in the world like a purchase and sale. In this circumstance, they weren't married, which is why it's a terrific question. My understanding is that there is going to be tax obligation in that, in terms of an excise tax transfer.
All right, so it's not. See, I'm thinking this is why one of the many reasons it's great to have Rick Jones here. I'm thinking you're never married. You got nothing. There's nothing here. You don't have the common law husband and wife deal in the state of Washington. But I'd have been wrong. There are some tax ramifications to this.
Well, in this case, it actually works the other way. So many times I have to give people advice that by being together so long and commingling funds, while you don't become common law married, you can establish what's called a kind of a meretricious relationship, so marriage-like relationship where some of the family law rules come into play. In this case, it's not about family. It's also about the state of Washington making sure that they get their taxes on a sale or
but we all agree this sounds amicable. That whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Well, good luck to you there, Jim.
All right, we've got time for another caller. Here is Matthew in Puyallup.
Hey, Matthew.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. What do you got for us?
Well, I've been married to a woman that I can't find. She's been in the Philippines, as far as I know, and I've been trying to pursue a divorce, and I've had no luck because I can't find her, even through due diligence.
I've wondered about this, Matthew. Okay, what's Matthew do? He's got a wife. He wants a divorce, but she's in the Philippines. What happens?
Yeah, well, there's an out as long as has she ever lived here in Washington?
Actually, we were married here, and then we moved to Florida, and then I returned here about 3 years ago, and just I pursued the divorce in Florida. So I was wondering if I...
Well, what happened in Florida?
Yeah, when does she go to the Philippines? What's up?
Well, I had no idea. We separated, and then we were in contact for a while. When I got all the paperwork and all that stuff together for the divorce in Florida, she just disappeared.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't find her.
Well, here's what you can do. You need to get a case filed here in Washington, so initiate a case so that it's underway. You need to take some due diligence, as you've already talked about, so maybe you're already good with what you've done, but basically create some evidence. Maybe it's a legal investigator that does an affidavit saying, I took step number 1, 2, and 3 and wasn't able to locate her. Then you go back to the court and you do what's called a motion to serve by publication. And it's basically a provision that says go the one extra mile. And you're required to post it, in one of the local newspapers, or they may order you to post it somewhere in the Philippines as well. But ultimately, you go through a period of time with that. She's still not going to respond because I don't think anybody ever sees those notices.
Right.
So she's still not going to respond. Then you go back to the court and do what's called a motion for default, saying, I served her based on your order to serve by publication. She didn't respond. Now we're done.
All right. So a person's playing difficult and won't talk to me. I can still divorce that person. That's what Matthew wants. So Matthew can divorce this person.
That's right.
God, thank you very much for the call, Matthew.
Wow, drama. Steve, let's see if Steve in Marysville can make his question quick.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how you doing? I just heard some things that might help me. My daughter was taken 4 years ago to St. Croix by her mother. I haven't seen her in 4 years. At the time, we had a case in King County, and I refused to give a drug test to the guardian ad litem. I'm now 8 months clean, coming up on a year. I'm got my stuff together, trying to figure out what's my next move. Do I go down to King County Court, find out the case number, and then go from there to try and get my daughter back?
Yeah, you want to pursue what's called a parenting plan modification. And right now, King County has jurisdiction because they had original jurisdiction. So you want to file a modification, say that you need to get back in the loop when it comes to some level of visitation. I guarantee you they're going to put you through an obstacle course, though, so be ready for that.
All right. Hey, good luck on that. And that's our final call for Rick Jones, all the time we have this morning. By the way, that's Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach, brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.